Hi, and welcome to WakeTV. I'm your host, Alice Avery. We're here at the Holly Springs Fire Department, Station 1 in Holly Springs, to talk to Brad Pace with Wake County Fire Services about the Wake County Fire Academy. Brad, thanks for joining us today.
It's nice to be here.
Good. So we recently celebrated the graduation of the 13th class of recruits at the Wake County Fire Training Academy. Can you tell us a little bit about the academy itself?
So we started out with 15 recruits. They were Academy 13. They started back in October and went through a 33-week long process with his academy. They come through on their own. They're sponsored by their departments that they volunteer with. And they come through, and during that course of time, it's normally about 33 weeks long, but during that course of time, they get their EMT certification, they get their firefighter certification, and the other few requirements that they need in order to become full-time firefighters, such as hazmat, ICS. And then once they get through with that, then hopefully the potential is by the time they graduate, they end up with a job, but they come out with all the certifications they need to be picked up by a full-time department in order to obtain a career in the fire service.
Okay, so 33 weeks, that's a long time. So I imagine there's a lot of hands-on training and classroom training. Can you talk a little bit about what they do?
There is. So EMT, there's a combination of both. So if we start with EMT, they do a lot of classroom. There's a lot of being in the book during EMT, but there's also a lot of practical skills that go on with it too. When we get into the fire side, we get into the little bit more strenuous side of things. So we're doing things like search and rescue, rapid intervention teams, fire control, fire attack, those different type things. So a lot more in-depth and hands-on stuff, a lot more labor intensive with those. But at the same time, they also have a lot of classroom and a lot of study times involved on their own or within the study time that we give them in class. So it's a full 8-hour days, Monday through Friday, worth of them learning and being able to get careers in the fire service.
So they have to be really dedicated to this to go through this whole process.
Yes, especially these guys, and a lot of the recruits that we get that come through, they're actually coming through on their own. Every once in a while, we'll get some that are being paid by a department to come through, but these recruits are going through on their own. It's their dime, it's their time. A lot of them are working nights and weekends to be able to go to keep up with the daily life schedule and have the funds to be able to continue going through. But so they put a lot of effort into it, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that, you know, a lot of people don't see. So, but they're very dedicated to what they have to do.
Right. And so, like I said, they recently graduated. What was that ceremony like?
So the ceremony was great. We held it at the Wake Tech South Campus in their big conference room that they have. Wake Tech is a big partner with us as far as doing the academy, because that's how we get the instructors and they come through to be able to come out and teach. It was a great ceremony. We had the Wake County District pipes and drums out there. So we try to make it a big event for them because they have put in, 33 weeks worth of time. So their graduation is their time to shine. It's kind of like their family day. So having their parents there and letting a family member or whoever they choose to be able to pin their badge is a big honor for them. So when we do it, a lot of people are like, hey, will you bring them up one at a time? We do that. That's their time. That's their time to shine and be out front and let people pin their badges that they want to pin. So it's a big tradition for us. It's a big ceremony for them, and it's a good way to send them out because they have put in 33 weeks of hard work. So
yeah, that's a big deal. They should celebrate it.
Yes.
So if someone is wanting to pursue a career in fire services, what does it take to become a firefighter?
So the biggest thing is anybody can be a firefighter. They just have to have the heart, the drive, and the passion to be able to do it. They need to want to serve their community and be able to help others, because that's what we're there for. We're coming to people on what could be the worst day of their life. So they really just having that fire, the drive, and the passion to help and serve, that's what they need.
Because a lot of it's not just going out to battle these huge fires. There's a lot of other aspects of being a firefighter that are very important.
Exactly. You watch movies, you see on TV or YouTube, all you see is firefighter. All they do is go fight fire. We run a tremendous amount of medical calls. We run more medical calls than we do fires. We run wrecks. We run, pretty much the way we sum it up is, if you don't know who else to call, you call the fire department. And not only that, but we also do a lot of fire prevention. So it's not just always hopping on the truck, we're going to a burning house or burning structure. It's a lot more the medical calls and the fire prevention and stuff that also takes place.
Right. Okay, so if someone is interested in getting started in a career or just finding more information, how can they learn that?
So they can go to our website at wakegov.com/fire, and we'll have information posted there, or my number is also listed. They can contact me directly, and I'll be more than glad to share any information we have with them.
Great. Well, thank you for talking to us today, Brad.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. I appreciate it.
Get the timely and accurate information you need to stay safe if there's an emergency in your area. Sign up for Ready Wake alerts, and Wake County will send you important notifications by text, phone, or email, whichever way you choose. Whether it's severe weather, a missing person report, or a neighborhood evacuation, stay in the know with Ready Wake alerts. Learn more and sign up at readywake.com.
Are you hosting an event but don't have a convenient way to collect trash and recycling? Wake County is excited to announce a new event recycling program that's free for residents. Whether you're hosting a private event, wedding, neighborhood party, or even a festival, these portable stations include composting, recycling, and trash bins. To learn more about how you can reserve an event recycling station for your next gathering, visit wakegov.com/event recycling.
We want cake! We want cake! We want cake! We want cake!
You remembered to get the cake, right?
I thought you were getting the cake.
We want cake!
What? No cake?
Things are better when you plan. Learn more about what we're planning at planwake.org. Only 1 in 5 people recycles in their bathroom, so Wake County is making it easy to get started. If you sign up for our bathroom recycling initiative and agree to take a survey, we'll give you a free 3-gallon recycling bin for your bathroom while supplies last. For more information, visit the website on your screen. Did you know 1 in 30 baby boomers has hepatitis C? People born between 1945 and 1965 are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. Hepatitis C can hide in the body for years or even decades and can cause cirrhosis, cancer, and even death. The good news is hepatitis C can be treated. The first step is to get a simple, free blood test. Don't be a statistic. Visit wakegov.com/hepc today to schedule your free blood test. The Wake County WIC program is excited to announce a major new development for the distribution of WIC benefits. eWIC offers a simple, safe, and convenient way for WIC clients to use their food benefits. The brand new eWIC cards replace paper food vouchers and work just like debit cards at the checkout. When you get to the register, swipe your eWIC card first to pay for WIC-allowed foods. For the first time, eWIC allows clients to buy as little or as much food as they need during each shopping trip. You can even check your benefit balance and identify WIC-approved products on your smartphone while you shop. To learn more about eWIC, please call 919-250-4720 or visit wakegov.com/WIC. The Wake County Public Library system has gone late fee free. No more late fees will be charged on overdue items. Existing late fees have been cleared from all accounts, giving everyone a fresh start. Just remember 3210, 3-week checkout period, 2 courtesy renewals, 1 happy customer, and 0 late fees. Learn more at wakegov.com/late fee free.
Welcome back to WakeTV. The rising cost of housing is a topic that we hear a lot of conversation around these days. It's becoming harder and harder for some folks to be able to afford to live here in Wake County. And this is a struggle that Lorena McDowell knows all too well because she is our Director of Housing, Affordability, and Community Revitalization. And she is here today to talk to us about a new program that the Housing Department is launching into, as well as to help us level set about what is going on in our housing market these days. So welcome, Lorena.
Thanks
for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, before we get into the latest about your very exciting program that is set to launch very soon, we just want to level set about what is happening in the housing market these days.
Sure.
We saw some numbers about the median sales price for a parcel of real estate in Wake County in April was $454,000, and that's a $24,000 increase from March. I mean, every month it just seems like it's going up and up. I mean, what is happening here?
Yeah, so this is a national issue, but more so for communities like Wake County, where we are a destination. Folks want to live here. They want to move here, and that was exacerbated for sure by COVID. A lot of folks were leaving more densely populated areas, and we are a prime location for folks who want to have a little bit less population, but be close to the mountains, be close to the ocean. So I think that's why, we also have a beautiful, we've got walkways, trails, we've got, so we're a great place to be. Having said that, it does put a lot of pressure on our market. And so the costs have gone up enormously. I know we all are aware of that. Yes. And it's difficult. But it makes it difficult for folks, not even if you can afford the house, if you can get the loan, but it's also hard even if you wanted to get in, because if you don't have enormous amounts of earnest money, if you don't have an enormous amount, of due diligence to even get in on an offer, it's really difficult right now. So we're not only seeing the increase in cost, but also an increase in the number of offers and what they're willing to put on the table. And it makes it really difficult for a lot of homeowners, especially first-time home buyers.
Oh, for sure. So are we seeing the same sort of challenge in the rental market as well here in Wake County?
Yeah, probably more so. So the rental market is really difficult. It always has been. And that's why we've been working so hard to preserve or to create more legally binding affordable housing rental stock. But, our vacancy rate here in Wake County is lower than the nation. The nation has an affordable housing crisis. So it puts an enormous amount of pressure on our rental market. We also have corporations who have targeted Wake County as a place to invest and buy because of everything we're talking about, right? We're a good place to invest. And so having said that, we have a lot of corporate-owned apartment complexes, and that's increasing, which also increases the overall cost of rental units. We've heard some folks who have seen their rents double. So it's a really difficult market, whether you own or rent right now.
And that can make a huge difference in someone's budget if their rent goes up by double. I mean, that could really cause major changes in their life. They could go from having a home to being homeless, right?
Absolutely. It's incredibly difficult. And that's why you hear when our department talks about these things, we don't ever come at any one issue along the spectrum of housing affordability from one space, because you have to come at it from all angles, right? So we're not only developing, we're not only preserving, we're also helping the homeless system to grow and expand and do more, putting more money into rehousing, trying to put more money into diversion and prevention. So we're really trying to tackle this from all different kind of angles right now.
And it makes so much sense. And you have a wonderful team over in your department. I know they're constantly monitoring these trends. And one of the things that came out of all of the analysis that you do is this need for an affordable housing preservation fund.
Absolutely.
So tell us what that is and how it will work.
We are incredibly excited about the Preservation Fund. This was a part of the Affordable Housing Plan, 20-year plan that we have and we've been working towards since we've been a department for 3.5, I guess almost 4 years. We're a baby department still. And it was actually scheduled to be two different funds. So there was acquisition and preservation. We decided to focus more on the preservation fund so we can move it more quickly in our timeline, because we know that we need to start preserving these units now or there'll be nothing to preserve. And so that's why we prioritize the preservation fund. But essentially, it is a fund that allows us to not only leverage the Wake County dollars further, pull in more money from philanthropy, business, other areas that want to invest in affordable housing in our community, but also move much more quickly. Currently, if we want to approve any affordable housing development gap financing, we have to go to the board for every single approval, and that can take time. We appreciate the board's supervision, we appreciate their guidance, but we need to move more quickly in this market because the broader market doesn't have those constrictions, right? And so they're able to snatch up properties before they hit the market, not even when they hit the market, right? And so we need to move more quickly. So this fund is a partnership with Self-Help Bank, who will be our fund administrator. And they are able to essentially work as another arm of government. At the beginning of the fiscal year, when the budgets are approved, that is when county dollars are approved to move into that fund. And from there, they're blessed to move forward and be used for affordable housing development, rather than them having to come back to us and ask for each and every approval individually. So we can move much more quickly. And Self-Help has done this in other communities, so they know what they're doing. Our goal initially was to have $60 million fund. At this point, we believe that we will exceed our goal of $60 million in our fund. Absolutely, we're very excited. And that's going to help us to create a ton of new units. We were trying to create a $60 million fund for about 3,000 units. And right now, we think we'll be able to surpass that. So affordable housing developers and for-profit developers can come and talk to the bank, and they can get a loan like you could in the open market. Move quickly, preserve that building that maybe was naturally occurring affordable housing, is going to sell to the open market, and keep it affordable. But for our dollars, there are restrictions, right? And that restriction is we need 30 years of affordability, sometimes 20, depending on what you're willing to give us, but many, many years of affordability on these units so that we can keep them affordable for years to come.
Oh, that is great news. So I know this requires some financial partnerships.
It does.
Do you have any banks or philanthropy organizations that have already thrown their hat into the ring?
We do. We have a number, and I can't tell you yet. But I will say that, I can name a couple of partners. So Wake County was the first. We put in $10.5 million as seed money to start the fund. And so that was amazing. The city came right behind us. They put in $4 million out of their bond right into the pot. And we do have a handful of banks, large banks, and some other business community as well that are putting the money in. And right now it's looking like we're going to surpass, like I said, the $60 million initial goal. And what's exciting about it is not only that we get these, big funders interested, but really getting the business community interested and then getting the banks interested in being a part of this too, because they can also help us on the rate side.
Yes.
Right? So it's not only about can we grow the fund, but how do we help decrease other costs as well so that we can really stretch these dollars as far as we possibly can as we develop more units of affordable housing and preserve.
So it's really a team sport here.
It's a team sport.
Everybody's getting in together to help the community.
Absolutely.
It doesn't get any better than that,
doesn't.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, once, this initiative is scheduled to kick off in July, formally, we should say. So when it gets up and going and really is hitting with full steam, what kind of impact do you foresee the community seeing from this? I know you talked about your goal and you're hoping to exceed that, but for the individual that may just be hearing about this fund, what will it mean for them?
Yeah, well, thousands of new affordable units will flood the market, right? Or units that from the preservation side were not going to be preserved as affordable and were maybe affordable at one point in time, but we're going to sell to the market. They won't lose those. So that's going to help. When the acquisition side comes in, we'll flood it with even more new units. The goal there is to create more units that are available to the renters and then also reduce some of that pressure on the market that we have right now, where the vacancy rates are so low, where there are so little options. And our landlords, we love them. They're doing great work with us in tons of other programs right now.
Yes.
But it's still really difficult to get in because they really have their pick, right? Sure. And so this will help us not only for folks who are just, lower income, but also for people who may have other barriers to affordable housing by reducing some of that pressure on the market and giving our renters a little more leverage than they currently have because there are more options for them out there.
Yeah. And once these, I guess as you keep these units affordable, how do you help connect the people who may need them with these affordable units? Because some people in this economy where we're seeing gas prices go up and food costs more and, their ability to stay where they are may be changing and they may be having to look for affordable housing where they've never had to do it before. So how do you connect those people with these units?
Yeah. So there isn't a list. There's not going to be a list because our goal is to not have buildings, just, a bunch of buildings in one area. We want to spread this out. We want Wake to be a place of choice for renters where they can live anywhere they want to. And so having said that, there isn't going to be some kind of one size fits all list for people to go to find their unit. I think in general, what they'll find is that the market will ease a little bit, will help to relieve the pressure. So there'll be more options when they are looking for units. If there's somebody who's impacted by homelessness, that's a little bit different. They're able to go to the Access Hub through the partnership and prevent homelessness. And then they're able to kind of see partners that can work with them. They can also access through that, through the partnership, they're able to have access to the landlord engagement unit. This was another team who's looking to help connect folks with units. The LEU or landlord engagement unit is not necessarily for renters, so renters can't directly come to them. But if there are folks who are experiencing homelessness or are precariously housed, they can go to the Access Hub and connect with a service provider, and all of those providers have access to the landlord engagement unit, who will be able to look at all the available affordable units in Wake County and more quickly connect that agency and thereby the client with the unit.
Oh, Wow, that is amazing. And that sounds just like one of many, many things that you all are doing in the housing department. I feel like every day we're saying how successful this thing is and that thing is. So are there any other programs that you want to mention that are doing the good work of trying to preserve the units that we have that are affordable and grow so that we have more in our stock?
Yeah, I think we have tons of programs and all of our staff are working really hard and we are coming at this from many angles. But I think the landlord engagement unit that I mentioned before is probably the biggest example of other ways that we're engaging with the landlord community and the units. The LEU is a team that they exist specifically to work with our landlords in our community, to help them understand why they should work with our residents and not just, we're flipping the conversation from, will you please work with our residents? Will you please keep a unit affordable to, well, let us tell you why it's a benefit to you, right? And that team is working with all the service providers in the community, and they have a database of all landlords that are signed up to be a part of this work, these efforts. That database is filterable by barrier. So if you are a woman who has 2 children, needs a 2-bedroom, and maybe has a criminal history, they're able to filter and see if there's a landlord in their database willing to still rent to you. So we can more quickly move you from your instance of homelessness or being precariously housed or displaced into a unit through a service agency. So that's really important. But it also grows our relationship in general with the landlords. We have risk mitigation funds. If anything happens to the unit, we can pay for vacancies. We can help folks with their first month's rent, sometimes more deposits. And so because we can do all of these things either through the landlord engagement unit or a service provider, we're creating an environment where landlords understand that working with us is actually probably the most guaranteed dollars out there. And I think COVID helped our landlords to see that, right? Your average person who maybe didn't have that support or didn't have a voucher, if they lost their income, you as a landlord lost your rent. Well, for all of our landlords who've been working with us, they didn't lose a penny. And so that team's working really hard to create those relationships, deepen them, and then, have the conversation with landlords about why maybe that $20 increase seems like something that makes sense to you as a business person. But if you keep it that $20 lower and under fair market rent, we can put someone in there and guarantee you no vacancy, right? And so over time, you make more money as a landlord and that unit remains affordable. So we're having tons of conversations through that team as well.
That is great. And I don't know that was always happening before you got here. So
it did not exist until recently. We launched that in November.
That is amazing. Well, you all do such great work, and we have to brag on you before we let you go for this segment. You all passed a major milestone last year where you were able to create more than 2,500 affordable housing units. How many years before you were supposed to?
2 years early. We are so, listen, I love that I get to sit in these conversations and collect the praise, but really it's just that team is so dedicated. The housing team is so dedicated to what they do. They are here because they really want to help. And they made it clear early on that they didn't want to hit this goal. They wanted to absolutely crush it. And they did.
They sure did.
They worked really hard. So we hit our goal 2 years early and 3 years instead of 5, as was the original plan. And we're still moving. We're still pushing to do more units. And that was not only sort of a function of their hard work and their dedication, but it also was just really smart planning. And so some of the things that we did to get there are, when you put an application forward to the Housing Finance Agency to receive tax credits, which is how we develop the majority of our units through tax credit process, our team decided we were going to underwrite every single loan application that came to us for gap financing before it went to the state. And we compete with everyone across the state for these tax credits, right? So let the best application win, right? And so having said that, we have people on our team that are evaluating every single application. They are negotiating before it gets to the state to do more affordability, more reserve units for permanent supportive housing, whatever it is we can do so that we get the most out of that development, most bang for our buck, but also so that it is a thing of beauty before it ever gets to the Housing Finance Agency. So when they read it, they think we should definitely do this one, right? And that's how we've been able to get from, I think, before this department existed, around 167 units, I think was the max that we had gotten in 1 year, to over 1,000 units just this past year in 1 year. So we are going to keep pushing forward. It will get more difficult as it gets more difficult to build, but we are committed, and our commissioners have also committed more funding for us to continue to do the work.
Yes, it is exciting, and it really is making a direct difference here in our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as this need goes up and our housing market continues to grow and expand in cost, and people are just looking for these affordable units, and and your help making sure that they're here. So
absolutely.
Thank you and your team for the work that you do.
I will share your gratitude with them for sure.
All of us appreciate it. And for those who are watching at home, you can go to our website, wakegov.com/housing, to learn more about all of the programs that Lorena and her team have put together to help our community.
Get the timely and accurate information you need to stay safe if there's an emergency in your area. Sign up for Ready Wake alerts, and Wake County will send you important notifications by text, phone, or email, whichever way you choose. Whether it's severe weather, a missing person report, or a neighborhood evacuation, stay in the know with Ready Wake alerts. Learn more and sign up at readywake.com.
Are you hosting an event but don't have a convenient way to collect trash and recycling? Wake County is excited to announce a new event recycling program that's free for residents. Whether you're hosting a private event, wedding, neighborhood party, or even a festival, these portable stations include composting, recycling, and trash bins. To learn more about how you can reserve an event recycling station for your next gathering, visit wakegov.com/event recycling.
We want cake. We want cake. We want cake. We want cake.
You remembered to get the cake, right?
I thought you were getting the cake.
We want cake.
What? No cake?
Things are better when you plan. Learn more about what we're planning at planwake.org. Did you know 1 in 30 baby boomers has hepatitis C? People born between 1945 and 1965 are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. Hepatitis C can hide in the body for years or even decades and can cause cirrhosis, cancer, and even death. The good news is hepatitis C can be treated. The first step is to get a simple, free blood test. Don't be a statistic. Visit wakegov.com/hepc today to schedule your free blood test. The Wake County WIC program is excited to announce a major new development for the distribution of WIC benefits. eWIC offers a simple, safe, and convenient way for WIC clients to use their food benefits. The brand new eWIC cards replace paper food vouchers and work just like debit cards at the checkout. When you get to the register, swipe your eWIC card first to pay for WIC-allowed foods. For the first time, eWIC allows clients to buy as little or as much food as they need during each shopping trip. You can even check your benefit balance and identify WIC-approved products on your smartphone while you shop. To learn more about eWIC, please call 919-250-4720 or visit wakegov.com/WIC.
That's all for this episode of Wake TV. Keep up with all the latest Wake County news by visiting us online at wakegov.com/news, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube so you can always stay in the loop. We'll see you next time.